Hello everybody and welcome back to another Sicky Does MMA video. A bit of a different one today. I'll be ranking the UFC champions from D to S tier. I see a lot of champions losing their belt this year, but I'm just like, S is going to be like your dominant champions with like multiple defenses. A will be like champions that are pretty dominant or they will become very dominant. B is like 50-50 they'll lose their title. C is like likely they'll lose their title, and like D is just you don't deserve the belt whatsoever, you absolute trash can type thing. Like Carla Esparza, like last year, she did not deserve the title, let's be honest, after that win, and we just saw so many dangerous contenders that would definitely beat her. Anyway, who cares? I promise I haven't tried recording this video 3 times and OBS crashing my streaming software, recording software, like 3 times. It's beautiful. Anyway, who cares? No one cares about that. Zhang Weili, let's get into it. 115. I'm gonna have to go A tier. Leave your fighters tier list in the comments below. I'd be very interested to see which ones you agree with and disagree with. Yeah, but Zhang Weili, I'm gonna have to go A tier. I really don't think anyone beats her at strawweight. Like, you have Carla Esparza, she literally dominated in every aspect of MMA, striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and it wasn't even close. Rose, I don't think would beat her. Again, I think Zhang would. Zhang's just getting better and better and better every single training camp. Like, if we've seen, since she went to Henry Cejudo, that one training camp, even though she lost the Rose rematch that she went to Henry Cejudo, she's been getting better and better. Like, it's crazy. Like, ever since going to Cejudo, I don't think she's even with Cejudo that much. I think she trains with, like, other people. But, like, it seems like she's been really focusing on her wrestling since doing that. And, damn, dude, she is just getting so much better. It's crazy. It's scary to see. And I really don't see anyone beating her. Like, Rose won't beat her, Amanda Lemos won't beat her, Jessica Andrade, we already saw that, Marina Rodriguez wouldn't beat her, Zhao Yanan wouldn't beat her, Mackenzie Dern, Tisha Torres, and the list goes on. No one's beating Zhang Weili anytime soon. By the time 2024 comes around, we'll probably see her S tier with like 3 title defenses. She is quite an active UFC fighter. And yeah, like, her last 2 performances, amazing. Yana Jędrzejczyk completely destroyed her, and Carla Esparza wasn't even competitive, crazy. And she was like a -300 favorite in that matchup, which is mad. I just spat everywhere, beautiful. Anyway, Valentina Shevchenko, it's going to have to be an S tier champion. I think she's had 7 title defenses now, beat Taila Santos, even though it was like controversial. She did win that matchup. If you go and watch round 2, which was like the deciding round of that fight, she did the more damage. Taila Santos kind of just sat in full guard and didn't really do anything. But I would say I do see her losing the title this year. I really do, man. I think she's going to have some very, very tough matchups upcoming. We're going to have Manon Fiorot fighting her soon. I think she beats her though. Taila Santos, I think Santos wins the rematch. If you go back and watch that, she got headbutted in the 3rd or 4th round, and it completely changed the fight. Taila Santos' right eye, I want to say, was completely closed, and she couldn't get a takedown after that. The whole fight, the fight completely changed. Like, after that, like, Shevchenko started to dominate and win. Katlyn Chookagian's a good fighter, but she won't win. Laura Murphy is not going to win. Alexa Grasso could eventually. She's still young, Alexa Grasso. She keeps improving every single training camp she does. Jessica Andrade, we already saw that. Viviana Araujo is a good fighter, but she won't beat Valentina Shevchenko. Jennifer Maia is improving a lot. She is improving a lot, but she won't beat Shevchenko in the rematch. There isn't many girls that could beat her apart from those 2 I just said. Like, Erin Blanchfield could beat her, possibly, but I do see an upcoming star, a comeback, someone who's making their comeback this year, really challenging her if they fight this year, and that's going to be Tatiana Suarez. I see Tatiana Suarez ragdolling Shevchenko. If Taila Santos can do it, I'm gonna bet on Tatiana Suarez can do that even worse and just dominate you in the wrestling department. So if Tatiana Suarez gets a title shot, I will be putting money on Tatiana Suarez. Anyway, moving on up the weight classes. Amanda Nunes, I just pressed the wrong button. S tier. She's an S tier. She lost to Pena, but that was like a fluke, wasn't it? Looking back at it, that shit was just a fluke. She clearly wasn't in the right mindset. The COVID thing, clearly had illnesses and just completely dominated her in the rematch. She only had one troubling moment in that fight, and that was the round 4 armbar, which was almost in. That shit was scary, dude. I just couldn't imagine Juliana Pena as a champion ever again. She's so shit at fighting. She's so shit, man. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get hate, but I don't care. Like, who's gonna beat her at bantamweight? She's had multiple title defenses. I think she was on like a 12-fight win streak in the UFC before losing to Juliana Pena. Caitlin Vieira isn't gonna beat her. Holly Holm won't beat her. Irene Aldana could cause some problems, but I don't see that. Raquel Pennington, we already saw that like 4 years ago when Raquel Pennington wanted to stop in the corner, but her coach said you have to go out and fight, and got stopped anyway. Terrible piece of coaching from Raquel Pennington's side. But yeah, like, no one's beating her. Like, let's be honest, Juliana Pena is not gonna beat Amanda Nunes again. That shit was just a fluke. Juliana Pena's shit at boxing. I fully believe, I know I'm gonna get called like, yeah, I'm sure, haha, you're not funny. I fully believe, give me 3 months of getting into shape and doing some boxing lessons, I fully believe I could beat Juliana Pena in a boxing match. This was a former world champion. And I fully believe I could beat her in a boxing match with 2 or 3 months training, getting into shape. It's embarrassing, her striking. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Francisco Figueiredo. Or Davidson. Jesus, it is Davidson. Oh my god, that's his brother. Jesus. Is it? Wait, am I bugging? I might be bugging. Figueiredo. I might be bugging. Holy shit, I've just got so confused. Gonna have to be B. I think he beats almost everyone at that weight class. I really do. I mean, let's look at the weight class. I can't believe I forgot his fucking name. Fuck, that's bad, dude. It's Davison Figueiredo. Jesus Christ. I think he beats everyone in that weight class. I think he beats Kai Kara France, Brandon Royval, Mateus Nicolau, Alex Perez. We already saw that. Like, he beats everyone at that weight class. Amir Albazi, I think he beats. Matt Schnell, he obviously beats. Manal Cape might be a good fight. But yeah, I do see him losing the belt in January in this upcoming pay-per-view card at UFC 285, is it, or 4? Yeah, I don't think he beats Brandon Moreno. If you go watch that third fight they had, Figueiredo had to rely on knockdowns in big moments, and if he doesn't have those big moments in that fight, he doesn't win. He doesn't win that fight whatsoever. Round 3 had to get the knockdown. He completely got outstruck in that round. He would have lost that round if he doesn't get the knockdown. Round 5, the same. Round 1 was the only round that he actually won on like activity and landing the better shots. And I see Brandon Moreno kind of staying more safe in the trilogy fight and racking up the points and not getting dropped like he did in the third fight. See, I do see him losing to Brandon Moreno, but I don't really see that many. Not many. I put him A tier if he beats Brandon Moreno. I will put him A tier if he beats Brandon Moreno, but Figgy's a very tough guy to, like, you know, bank on. Like, is his weight cut going to be bad? Like, what's he going to be like on fight night? We saw that against, Brandon Moreno, the second fight. He looked dog shit in the second fight. It looked so weird. And the just other fights as well against, what's his name? Jusio Formiga. Like, I know he took it on short notice and wasn't feeling well, but dude, like, even in that fight, you don't know what you're going to get with Figgy. So he's a very hard fighter to judge for sure. Going on up the weight classes, Aljamain Sterling. B tier. I'm gonna have to go B with Aljo. I think that his hardest matchups are gone. His hardest matchups are already gone. I think Peter Yan, the first time, it's crazy to think about. If he didn't just accept that knee, if he fought on, he wouldn't be the champ right now. We'd probably see Peter Yan the champ he would have had to fight like 3 other times to get to another title shot, which is mad to think about. It is really, it's crazy. But yeah, like Peter Yan's one of the hardest matchups for him. He got past that. He got past TJ Dillashaw, one of the harder matchups because of TJ Dillashaw's scrambling ability and just overall elusiveness on the feet. Merab, he's not going to fight Merab because they're best buddies. It's so cringe when fighters do that. Sean O'Malley, I think he beats. I think he just gets his back and probably finds a choke on O'Malley. Marlon Vera, I think he does the same. We saw Jose Aldo take Marlon Vera's back. I think he gets that win. I think he beats Corey Sandhagen again. I think all of his hardest matchups are gone. Henry Cejudo there, I think Henry Cejudo does beat him. But if he beats Henry Cejudo, he's an A-tier champion in my opinion. He has shown, he can beat off contenders. He can beat off one of the greatest fighters of all time. I wouldn't say like top 10, like top 5 greatest fighters of all time, Henry Cejudo, but like skill-wise, Henry Cejudo is one of the best fighters, of all time for sure. Winning 2 belts, beating DJ. Controversially, I think he got a robbery decision, but I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, if he beats Henry Cejudo, I'll put him A tier. Another couple fights, he might be S tier, but I do see him losing his belt very soon, for sure. Very soon. He's always having injuries. He just tore his bicep or something, and he's going to be out until like May now. I don't know. It's weird with Aljo. Very injury prone for sure. Going on up the weight classes, Volkanovski's an S tier champion. Let's be honest. Pound for pound, number 1. Completely dominated. I keep scrolling up. Nice, good stuff. He completely dominated Max Holloway, the clear second best guy in that division. I don't see anyone beating him apart. I'm gonna get so much hate, and the casual is gonna be screamed in the comments below. I do see Yair Rodriguez beating him. I don't care. I'm an MMA tipster. I watch like tape study. I mean, just look at this shit. Look how many notes I have. This is for the UFC card this weekend. UFC Vegas 67 Imavov for Strickland. I do tips. I do breakdowns. And I think Yair Rodriguez is a dog shit matchup for him, dude. I think Yair Rodriguez could kick with him, could jab with him, could punch with him. Maybe Volkanovski mixes it up well, but I don't know, dude. I think that like Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez is going to be a massive upset. If people think that Yair Rodriguez is just going to get dominated on the feet, you're crazy. You don't know anything about MMA for sure. But yeah, he's an S-tier champion. I mean, he completely dominated the second best guy in that division. Yeah, I mean, very impressive stuff by Volkanovski for sure. And if he beats Islam Makhachev, the guy I'm just going to bring up, dude, holy shit, that'd be crazy. Anyway, A tier for Islam. I think Islam, he's only had 1 fight. You can't put him S tier. There's no way you can put him S tier. He hasn't had enough title defenses, but he just went and beat one of the most dominant champions in the UFC right now. Oliveira, who beat Gaethje, who beat Dustin Poirier, who beat Chandler in very impressive fashion, all 3 of them. So you have to put him A tier, the way he just dominated Oliveira. I think there are challenges ahead for him. I think that guys like Arman Tsarukyan in the rematch could cause him problems. He probably still wins, but I think that Arman Tsarukyan's scrambling ability and wrestling ability and his striking ability at kicking range is going to cause Islam problems for sure. I could see him losing a round or 2, being a very close back and forth fight. Dariush's scramble, bro. Dariush's takedown defense. If you go and watch that Gamrot fight, oh my god, bro, his takedown defense is insane, bro. Like, Dariush is a problem for him as well. Dustin Poirier isn't a problem stylistically. Oliveira, I don't see beating him, but Oliveira could do better with a different game plan. I fully believe that. That was just not a good game plan from Oliveira whatsoever, but he would beat Oliveira again for sure, in my opinion. And yeah, that's probably all the challenges he has. Like Jalen Turney dominate, Dan Hooker dominate. Obviously, we saw that. Demir Ismagulov, he would dominate, but dude, like I wish Demir didn't retire, dude. We literally just lost a top 5 lightweight. Anyway, I keep going off the UFC champion, tier list kind of thing. But yeah, Islam Makhachev's an A tier. I think he beats basically everyone at that weight class, but he will have difficult challenges. Even Gamrot could cause him problems, but I don't know, probably not, because he has better striking than Gamrot in my opinion. Going on up the weight classes, Leon Edwards, C tier. I think he's likely to lose that title, dude. 25-75. 25% he keeps the title, 75% he loses it. I think he beats Kamaru Usman in the rematch, but this is just my opinion. Most people are probably picking Kamaru Usman because obviously the fight wasn't going his way. But again, I will say this: the amount of hours I did tape studying Leon Edwards was not healthy for that fight against Kamaru Usman. My head was in the blender. I did that much tape study for that fight. I bet Leon Rocky Edwards, he got the job done. But I would just like to say, that was not the Leon Edwards. That was just not the best Leon Edwards we've seen. If you go and watch before round 2, like before Usman did anything in that round 2 where he took over and started to dominate Leon Edwards was not the same fighter he always is, dude. Like, before Usman did anything, like, his footwork was so bad, his feet were crossing over, like, the elevation definitely played a factor in that fight. I'm so sure of it. And we know Kamaru Usman trains at elevation. He's had all these EPO accusations. I don't think he is. I think he probably is an EPO, I'll be honest. He trained at Black Zillions. He's Sanford MMA now, and I think it's like another name. They're definitely avoiding tax for sure. All these name changes, dude, definitely avoiding tax. But yeah, I think he will lose to Khamzat Chimaev. My prediction for the welterweight champion of the world by the end of 2023 is going to be Khamzat Chimaev. I think Khamzat Chimaev would destroy him. I think Colby Covington would be a tough matchup just because of the pace that Colby would put on him. But I do think he does beat Kamaru Usman by decision in the next fight. I do think his jiu-jitsu, he won't be as gassed in that fight. We saw so many guys in that fight card that gassed so hard because it was at elevation in Utah. We saw like Luke Rockhold completely dying, Paulo Costa completely dying, Sean Woodson completely dying. We saw like Angelusa completely dying. I forgot AJ Fletcher was completely dying. There were so many guys that were just dying from the elevation at that, at that, what do you call it? At that card on that night. So yeah, I don't really see that being that much of a problem. He has good cardio for sure. He has good cardio. So yeah, I do see him beating Kamaru Usman in the rematch. Anyway, going on up to middleweight, Alex Pereira. C tier. I know like his head's cut off, but yeah. C tier. I think it's C tier is fair, man. I really do think C tier is fair. I would not say D. I would not say he doesn't deserve it, dude, because in my opinion, against Izzy, he was winning the striking for the most part. Round 1 was his round until he got caught right at the end, so it must have been like a lack of concentration or something. Round 2, after being rocked out in his feet, he comes back off the stool and wins round 2 striking. Round 3 he completely just gets grappled to death. Round 4 he was so gassed at round 4 he took like the first like 3 minutes off and then came back with like 2 minutes left, started landing some good shots. And if you go watch the end of round 4 in that fight, it looked like he hurt Izzy. Izzy was kind of rocked towards the end, like literally like 5 seconds left. It looked like Izzy was kind of stumbling over. I saw it on Twitter the other day, and it did look like Izzy was rocked at the end of round 4. So yeah, and round 5 he came out guns blazing. He knew he was down, so he had to go after Izzy, and he got the KO. So I do see Izzy getting the rematch and beating him, and then I see Izzy fighting Pereira and Pereira beating him in the trilogy. If it happens like that, that's my prediction of how this whole middleweight saga happens. They'd have a trilogy, it takes up the whole year, and then Bobby Knuckles comes in, gets that 2024 title shot, and gets the belt once again. He should have beat Izzy in that rematch, in my opinion. It was 3-2. I watched that fight 3 times, and every time I watch it, it's 3-2 Robert Whittaker, pretty clearly as well. So yeah, how do you see Robert Whittaker? If Robert Whittaker fights Pereira at the end of the year, if Pereira beats Izzy, Robert Whittaker will just style on Pereira, in my opinion. Mix it up, chain wrestle, and just, you know, take him down at will over and over again. And we know Pereira will not be the same fighter as we saw against Izzy in round 3. When he came out in round 4, he kind of looked really tired. But yeah, going on up the weight classes, 205 light heavyweight, Yuri Prochazka. I know he's not the champ right now, but we don't have any UFC champions. We don't have any UFC champions, so let's just pretend he's the UFC champ. B tier. I think it's going to be a B tier for our UFC, well, uncrowned UFC champ, Yuri Prochazka. Let's look at the weight class that the guys he could beat. So Glover, I was going to pick him in the rematch. I think he'd beat Glover again. I think he'd beat Jan Blachowicz. I think he'd beat Alexander Rakic. Rakic could cause him problems though, because Rakic is a very good counter striker, good at leg kicks, and decent wrestling ability. Jamal Hill, I think he'd beat Jamal Hill. I think Magomed Ankalaev could beat him, because Magomed Ankalaev's counters are one of the best in the UFC. So yeah, I think the Magomed Ankalaev would beat Yuri Prochazka, but, you know, Yuri Prochazka, you can't really put him any higher than B, even though he beats a lot of these guys, in my opinion. He was losing to Glover Teixeira 3-1 with 30 seconds left. He gets the finish, so you can't really put him at A tier. He hasn't really, you know, dominated anyone in the UFC. Like, who has he actually dominated? He fought Volkan Ozdemir. He destroyed him, to be fair. Then he fought Dominic Reyes. He KO'd him. And then he fought Glover Teixeira, right? And then he was like a back and forth fight. But even in the Reyes fight, dude, he got hurt by an up kick, and he can't remember. He said he couldn't remember what happened after the up kick or before the up kick. He like got KO'd. He got like flash KO'd from the up kick. So he hasn't had any really dominant performances. So he has to be a B tier for me. Going on up the weight classes, our final weight class, Francis the Predator Ngannou. It's gonna be, I'm trolling. I'm kind of a Francis Ngannou hater, I can't lie. It's just kind of annoying. Like, I'd say A. I'll be honest, the reason why I'm not a fan of Francis is like, dude, he's so like, sometimes he can just be so I don't know if this is a word, but untechnical, if that makes sense. Like, he won't be technical whatsoever and just relies on his KO power so much. It's like, dude, I wish we had like a heavyweight champ like a Cyril Gane, who definitely, in my opinion, beat Ngannou. That's not even me hating. I swear on my mum's life, that's not me hating on Ngannou whatsoever. Gane definitely won that 5th round. If you go back, answer all these questions for me. Who did the more damage? Who got the takedown? Who had the close sub attempt? Who had 2 sub attempts? Who had about 50 seconds of control? Who was on their butt, kind of hugging Ngannou and not really doing anything from top position? Ngannou wasn't doing anything from top position. And then the last question is, what damage did Ngannou do to equal Gane's damage and sub attempts? I'm waiting. There's no possible way you can argue Gane did not win that 5th round, and Ngannou literally was just heavy breathing on top of him. And I remember one punch he threw. I watched it last week or 2 weeks ago over Christmas. He threw one body punch, I remember, from half guard. That's all I remember in that 5th round that Ngannou did. Gane was skilling him on the feet. But yeah, anyway, I think that Ngannou beats almost everyone at heavyweight. Like, I think Jones would beat him. I think Jones would be just so active, just kick the shit out of him from out of range. I think he'd attack his that leg, that knee that he's just came back from. I think he'd attack that body. And, you know, the one thing that Stipe did terribly in that rematch against Ngannou is let Ngannou rest, have these big, you know, lulls in action where Ngannou was like getting all of his energy back. So yeah, I think John Jones is not going to let that happen. He's going to be throwing side kicks to the body, teep kicks up the middle, high kicks, leg kicks, oblique kicks to the knee. It's just going to be non-stop attacks even in like Jones's last few performances, he's always active. He's always still active, with picking up those points. And Ngannou is not going to be able to, keep up that pace with John Jones. But yeah, Cyril Gane, I think, would beat him in the rematch. I think Pavlovich could beat him, but I see Ngannou kind of KOing him. And even wrestling, if he wanted to, like Pavlovich's wrestling is kind of suspect, as we saw against Alistair Overeem. Taito Ivasi beat Curtis Blades. He already beat twice. Tom Aspinall would be an interesting matchup, but I think Ngannou would catch Tom Aspinall just with that one punch. Tom Aspinall is very good though. It's good to see a lot of these heavyweight fighters are definitely getting more technical, like Cyril Gane, Stipe Miocic, obviously, Sergey Pavlovich. If you actually like watch him and kind of analyze what he's doing, it's so technical. The way he picks his shots, and like he's always out of range, managing his distance, because he has like a 85-inch reach advantage. It's crazy, his reach. But yeah, there you have it. There was my tier list for UFC Champions 2023. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you like this video, subscribe. A bit of a different one, but yeah, subscribe, like, do all that shit. Comment your UFC champions and maybe your favorite UFC champions. But yeah, I will see you guys Saturday, tomorrow, for UFC Vegas 67 watch along. We'll see you there. Peace.